We'll now turn our attention to head coach Rick Powers. So again, if you have questions, type in the chat and I will call upon you. We'll open it up with Jess Myers, St. Paul Pioneer Press.
Hi, Greg, and welcome back to Minnesota. I'm old enough where I can remember an NHL team leaving town and college hockey being the big show in the Twin Cities for a while there when the North Stars departed. Just what has Sun Devil hockey meant to hockey in Arizona this year with the NHL leaving a void there?
I think it's meant to our hockey community a ton. It's a huge void, and I don't think anybody can fill the void of the National Hockey League. That's not going to happen until it returns. But, we have done a great job of being active in the community and obviously, giving the hockey community something to really be excited about. They've been incredible to us, most importantly, packing mullet every night. And as the season went on and as stakes became more and more elevated, you could feel the energy get even better and better in the building. So it's been a fun year, being able to give the hockey community something to cheer for and be excited about. And I think it's been a year that we have grown so much, in the community that next year it's just going to continue to get better and better.
And is that maybe a selling point of your program that, hey, we're in a community of 5 million people and this is the big show as far as hockey goes?
I think it has to be. I mean, you look at some of the videos and you reflect on last weekend, playoff hockey, first time any sort of playoff hockey at a very high level has been in the Valleys, since 2012, and the environment was outrageously good. So it's a huge selling point. And, I don't know what player could look at those videos and not want to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Next, we'll go to Matt Semish, USCHO.
Hey Greg, this is a kind of a general question, but how has this season gone being in a conference? I mean, has it met your expectations? And how does it inform kind of like your recruiting process going forward?
It's far exceeded. We knew it would enhance our student athlete experience in every way, and just the competitive nature of being in a league and developing rivalries and playing a team more than one weekend on the season. It's been unbelievable. To have standings to update and teams to chase or stay ahead of or whatever it is, was something that we have never experienced. We experienced it this year, and that usually, other than the year we made the tournament, and then obviously the year that we were going to where it got canceled, we've been done. We've been done right now, and watching the games on TV. And last year I was at the Frozen Face Off and went up to it and watched it in person. And we're watching all these conference tournaments and teams play on big stages, and have felt a lot of times we were good enough to be there. We just didn't have the opportunity because we were an independent. So being in a league has changed our I think the trajectory of our program in a really positive way. Kids want to compete for championships, and if we were not in the NCHC in this specific league, especially, I don't think we'd have, you know, a lot of the kid that you just talked to, he wouldn't be here. Ryan Kerwin wanted to play in the NCHC, and so did, Cruz Lucius and Bennett Shimmick and Luke Pavicic and Noah Beck. So it's changed the trajectory of our program on many levels.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Thanks for doing this.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Good stuff. Next, we'll go to Jack Janes, Cronkite Sports.
Hey, Coach. Just how's Kyle Smolin doing?
He's on the mend. He's on the mend. So we'll see. He's out of the hospital. It was pretty much precautionary. He was there for 3 days, but we're hoping he gets cleared. It may not be this weekend, but if we can get through this weekend with some good results and punch our way through to NCAA tournament play, we were confident he'll at least be available for that. So we're waiting to hear on this weekend. It's probably 50-50. But he's going to be okay.
Good to hear. Next, we will go to Leah Merrill.
Hello. The circumstances of this weekend are obviously a little bit different. Last weekend, you were coming off a bye. It was a best of three series and at home. Now you're headed to a neutral site. and it's best of one. How does your approach change to this weekend's games?
Yeah, I mean, I just urgency, desperation, all those things. I think that the message, really from me consistently since Saturday has been, hey, like every time you put on our jersey, it could be your last for the guys that are out of eligibility. And we believe if our guys play with that urgency and desperation of not making it their last, we love our chances against anybody. We've been as good as anyone in the country for the last, I think, two-thirds of the season. And if we play with a certain level of urgency and desperation, we like our chances again, like I said. So it's just consistent messaging and making sure the guys, no matter what the result is, leave it all out there and I'm confident that they will.
Thanks, Coach. Next, Adam Wood on College Hockey News.
Yeah, Coach, I think recently you've started Gibson back to back one weekend, Luke back to back another weekend. I'm having a hard time figuring out your pattern. Do you know is the question, I guess.
Yeah, that's on purpose, Ad. I'm just trying to confuse you as much as I can. No, it's a lot of it's gut, a lot of it's practice. Both guys have done a good job sharing the load, and at this point, a lot of it's matchup. And who's had more success against what team previously, things like that. So they both have put us in this position. Luke was good for us on Friday. I thought Saturday it was again. It wasn't. They scored three nice goals, and we're on 3-0, and you're just trying to get your guys a little bit of a jolt of energy and change the mojo a little bit, and Gibby went in and shut the door, and we were able to get the win. So it's a lot of it right now is just matchup related and how they're looking in practice.
And just to follow up on that with the defensively, I was watching your games this weekend. I don't know, your defense was giving me a heart attack a little bit just because you guys, play wide open. I mean, you seem comfortable like that. I mean, do you have to tighten that up a little bit this week against Denver, or are you comfortable with sort of, an offensive game?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how we're built. We're not a big stout, team. I don't think defensively overall throughout the season we haven't been a bad defensive team. The numbers show that. But this weekend it was a little too wide open. I felt like the bye week definitely affected the detail in the D zone, and the return to D zone and some of the things that we were doing, and that's literally all we've been talked about and focused on in practice yesterday and today was shoring those things up, and that's what we did so well up in Denver was defend and make sure that we weren't sacrificing defense for offense. Because if you sacrifice defense for offense against Denver, um, there's some pretty bad things that are going to happen to you, So we'll be definitely focused more on the defensive side of the puck Friday than the offensive side of the puck. We believe that we have the depth and skill and the speed and the dynamic players up and down our lineup, where if we play the right way, the offense will take care of itself.
Thanks, Greg. Next, Sean Brennan, Cronkite Sports.
Hey, Coach. You guys have had a great power play this year, number three in the nation. Denver's at number two. I know the special teams battle is always a point of emphasis, but how much more important is it when you're going against such a good power play unit?
Yeah, they're lethal. You have to be disciplined against these guys, and if you're not, they're going to make you pay. So I'm sure they're saying the same thing. They don't want to see themselves a man down against our power play either. So, if we can keep it to a 5-on-5 game, we've been really good. We've been really good 5-on-5, and obviously penalties are going to happen, but they just have to be hockey plays. They can't be selfish, retaliatory, ozone type penalties in situations like we're going into. So it's just more really focusing on discipline more than anything.
Next, we've got looks like Eric List, Blaze Radio.
Hey, Coach, and I kind of want to follow up with that. What has made the structure of the Denver power play so good
Well,
from your
they're
point of view?
obviously, yeah, I mean, they're obviously incredibly well coached. I mean, they have a great staff led by DC, who's arguably the best coach in college hockey, if not definitely one of them. And Tavis and Dallas have both been head coaches at the Division I level. So their staff is incredible. They know what they're doing, and they do a great job recruiting elite talent that fits the way that they want to play and the identity that they have. And when you have players as good as they have, and you got an extra guy on the ice and all that skill and all that IQ, you're going to see a power play execute to the level that they do. So I think it's mostly obviously just really, really good players, but they do such a great job, establishing what the identity of those players needs to be, and that's why they've had so much success all over, not just on the power play.
Next, Scott Strandy, College Hockey News, or sorry, College Hockey West.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you here in St. Paul. You have a lot of Minnesotans and some young Minnesotans on your roster. Are you worried at all about that they might be a little too excited, a little too impressed to do things at the XL Energy Center?
No, I talked to some of them this morning, and none of them ever played at Excel. I think Shim has practiced at Excel once, but nobody's actually played a game. Andover didn't make it. Wayzata didn't make it with Tuck. And Gentry didn't make it with Cruz and Shim. So none of them have played there. They're excited about it. But I'm not worried about it. At the end of the day, it's a 200 by 85 ice sheet, and if we treat it any other way, then shame on us.
Makes sense. A couple more questions. We'll go to Jake Sloan, Devil's Digest.
Hey, coach, you guys have been in close games throughout the season, specifically in conference play with a lot of the games coming down to overtime, one goal games. How much has the veteran presence helped with that throughout the season, especially now going into the postseason?
Yeah, it's why we built the roster the way we did. We wanted to go heavy into the portal and clear out space to bring in elite players that had been through conference play, conference playoffs, all these things. So, again, while we are a program that hasn't been through a conference postseason, we're not a team full of players that haven't been. A lot of the guys in that room have been through it. And now we've got 2 games under our belt, 2 really tight knit games, tight, close games, with a great team in Duluth, and our guys feel good. They're confident and excited, and I can say that we all are down here.
Thanks, Coach. Looks like we got 4 more. We'll cut it off after Eric. So, Gabby Chernoff, back to you.
Hi, Coach. You've talked since the beginning of the season about how this is the deepest roster your program has ever seen. How have they kind of performed to that in your mind from your preseason expectations, and how rewarding is it to see them earn this opportunity this weekend?
Yeah, it's incredibly rewarding, because of how banged up we were the first third of the year, and that directly correlates into how deep we are, right? So, we haven't had, there's been 1 game this season where we've had a completely healthy lineup, of what we projected our top 12 forwards and 6 or 7D to be, not one. So, Benji obviously is a huge loss. He's our one of our biggest leaders and pieces of sandpaper, and one of our best checkers, and you need those guys in playoff hockey. And then obviously Smoley, if he's not in this weekend, he's one of our other best checkers. So when they're both out against Duluth and you find a way to win, it's just been a microcosm of our season. Our guys have just really become accustomed to this is just how it is. We're a deep team that has a lot of weapons and guys that can fill in when guys are out, and that's just the way it's been for us. So it's the only way we know. And we found a way to become successful with that mindset. So really proud of the group for just figuring it out, and not using those injuries as an excuse to have a failed year. It would have been really easy to do. So really proud of them, and yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see what we could accomplish with a fully healthy team the entire season. But we are where we are, and we control our destiny, and we got to go up and find a way to get 2 wins.
3 more. Dylan Pescator, Blaze Radio.
Coach, talking about the PK, if you don't have Kyle this weekend, your PK1 is not there that you planned back in October. We saw Ty play a little PK earlier. Who are the other guys that we can see kind of step up in that role?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
saw
next,
Ryan
next
as
man
well.
up. We've had Kerwin ready and had him take reps, and he got some reps live this weekend and did a great job. He's got a good IQ. He's got a good stick. He'll eat a puck. Dylan Jackson is another guy that can easily kill for us. Ryan Alexander, Cole Gordon. So we have guys that can do it. Obviously our top PK pair has always been Smalley and Benji, and they're both probably out. So it's the next man up. That's just like to take off of Gabby's last question. That's how we've operated this season. It's the only way this team knows how to go, and guys will just get the job done. We have no other choice.
And then just a quick follow-up on that in terms of Ryan Alexander. How impressive was he this weekend and kind of getting back to where he was that second half of his freshman year with his fresh
Yeah.
legs?
Really good. Just he was playing when he plays in straight lines and can play downhill. He's really effective against anybody, and he did that especially Friday. Saturday was a tough game to get the fourth line really heavily involved because we got down. We were chasing the game the whole pretty much the whole game. So it was tough to get them a lot of ice. But Friday they were really good. They did exactly what you need them to do, and he was a big reason for that.
Two more. Back to Michael Caratanudo, Pitchfork Lunch.
Hey, Coach, when obviously you talked about it a lot last week, playing Minnesota Duluth for a fifth and sixth time, now playing Denver for a fifth time. But when you get, an overtime goal like that and momentum, and yes, you have to prepare for Denver. But man, how much electricity and momentum does that just give your team going in to this fifth matchup against Denver?
I mean, obviously, it was a great moment for our program to win a playoff series at home, and do it in front of our fans and our building. And I think that's the biggest piece of that moment. But the biggest thing for us was we didn't want to play Sunday. We wanted to rest, and we knew there was a good chance that obviously we'd get Denver if they won, and after a 3-3, so our guys are going to be fresh. And that was going into the game, the staff really didn't address it with the players, but the staff internally really just did not want to come to the rink on Sunday. We wanted to rest and watch and from home and just relax. And when we went down 3-0, it didn't look good. We looked like we were probably going to have to come here and gut out a game three, but the guys got it done. And it was more about just getting it over with in 2 games and making sure we could be as fresh as possible heading into St. Paul.
And then quick follow-up, Ryan obviously with the 25 goals, but Lucas, this season and guys with the assists, finding the pucks, and it goes to my question goes to obviously the depth and where you guys started the season, mixing guys up back and forth, but with how Lucas has been able to find guys, what have you seen from the growth of his game and the guys just getting the puck from him and putting it in the back of the net?
That's just what he's always done. His IQ is special, and he has 2 brothers, both one's a full-time NHLer, the other probably will become one. Lucas, you could argue, is actually a better player. He unfortunately got his mom's genes. He's smaller, right? But he's a playmaker. He thinks the game probably better than anybody we've had, and our power play success these last 2 years, it's all because of him, and Hixie does an unbelievable job with our power play. But what he does really well is just he lets Silly do whatever Silly wants. You get Silly the puck on the flank and he goes downhill. There's 3 or 4 options and one's going to be open and he finds a way to find that open option every time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. I know you got to head off to talk to Mr. Starman and CBS Sports Network. So Eric, List, Blaze Radio, make it a quick last question, but a good one.
Yep, I'll follow it up there. What do you think kind of about your middle 2 lines performance this weekend, that Potter and Jackson line both?
Thought they were really good. I thought they were really good, especially Saturday. Dylan had a big goal. Shim scored, obviously, Friday. Potsy played really well Saturday. I thought Cruz had his best overall game on Saturday when I put him with the Twins. He was moving his feet and attacking space, and he looked like he finally starting to find his legs a little bit. So they were good. I thought everybody needed to do something to help us get a sweep, and they did.